In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful, praise be to Almighty Allah, the Master of the universe and hereafter. May the infinite blessings of Allah be unto our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, his companions, and all of us who adhere to his teachings until the day of accountability. I'm pleased to welcome you all, particularly our August visitors, who are here with us to witness the 2024 reunion, which featured a fitness trekking yesterday, and will today present a public lecture on two very important topical and sensitive topics on health and climate change, and later in the night we are going to have a dinner. The topics were well chosen and captioned in tune with the realities of both our state and Nigeria at large. It is also our part, our modest effort to contribute our quota towards the sustenance of discourse on issues bordering on the livelihood of our people, which is part of the core mandate of the Alumni Association. The presenter on health will speak on the impact of security on healthcare service delivery in Zamfara State and the way forward, while the other one on climate change will dwell on green energy and climate change, a pathway for sustainable development in Zamfara State. And I'm happy to report that all the presenters are product of our prestigious university. I wish at this point, by most profoundly acknowledging the presence of our special guest, fully represented, who is represented by Honorable Commissioner, Minister of Education, Science and Technology, Malam Wadatau. He is my friend, not my junior brother now. To this auspicious occasion. And another thing that I want to commend him honestly speaking, because yesterday I particularly brought an ambulance for people like him in case, and our special team, medical team. But I was surprised he was even ahead of me.
Oh my God.
You are welcome, sir. As courtesy as it is, I want to welcome the head of service, secretary to the state government, who is ably represented by the permanent secretary, cabinet affairs, the representative of the vice chancellor, university, Professor Basir Garba, my good friend and immediate past vice chancellor of the university, Professor Laccoci, the president of the National Association of Kudus Alumni Association, traditional religious leaders and other guests to the occasion. I equally welcome our royal father of the day, His Royal Highness the Emir of Sarkin Kasan Alhaji Ibrahim Bello, who is eminently represented by Sarkin Gabas Alhaji Bashir. We are full of appreciation of the legendary and fatherly role you have been rendering to the Union at all times. I also wish to welcome all our invited guests, particularly our alumni members, for not only honoring our invitation but for your commitment to what the Union stands for: unity of purpose and team spirit. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the remarkable feat attained by our noble union for over a decade has been tremendous and remarkable. This is due to cooperation and support from both members and even non-members. The presence of Kudus and its people is overwhelmingly evident in all spheres of economic and social force of Zamfara State. There is no sector of the state that is not directly or indirectly under the control of our members. In fact, it is not an overstatement to say that the highest leadership architecture of the state is made of graduates of our alma mater. Maybe I will explain. His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Zamfara State, finished his PhD from Fodiyo University. The Secretary of the Zamfara State Government is also from University School. The head of service, we now have a makaranta. It's also from that university. Not only that, the chief of staff to the governor is from Usman and Fodiyo Sokoto. Even on the high table here, the Attorney General and Commissioner of Justice is also from Sokoto. In all the spheres, like I have said, education, health, judiciary, all tertiary institutions, our health institutions. My MD is here, Federal Medical Center is from there, MD Rima Bukura is from there. Mostly, it is not, I don't think I can be wrong if I say that 60, even 70% of graduates under the workforce of Zamfara State are from graduates of this university. What remains for us is to ensure that we work with the two teachers of the university that is so blessed to be named after our legendary Usman, founder of Sokoto Caliphate. We want to live on the ethics of fairness and accountability. And I want to believe that the present set that are managing the state is a clear indication of what our brothers are doing. There is no better than now for us to do what to do than now when our dear state is so blessed with credible leadership, with a political will to turn around the fortunes of the state. Evidence for better days for the state are everywhere for everyone to see. May Allah continue to give the leadership the order, wisdom, and Allah's protection to sustain the provision of more evidence of democracy to our people. May I use this credible medium to advocate for more commitment from members of the alumni, especially at its effects, giving back to the university. How many of us care to donate anything to the institution? I'm sure some of us have never even cared to pay a visit in order to see how the university has fared over the years. Please let us have a true reflection. It is important to note that maintaining a positive relationship with your alumni means sharing about your institution's current position and status. If the relationship between you and the institution stops when you leave campus, the knowledge of your activities and achievements will no longer evolve. We must maintain communication channels with both the alumni union and the university. This will certainly help in making the institution become bigger, stronger, and more successful. Alumni therefore enhance the value of even our degree qualification. To this end, I want to use this medium to appreciate all those who contributed to us making this occasion a success. His Excellency the Executive Governor of Zamfara State just recently donated 5 million naira to our national association. National President and we have redeemed the pledge. The Secretary to the State Government, Mala Abakar Nakwada, who was once the National President of the Student Union, is doing a great job, honestly speaking. The dinner we are going to have later in the night is wholly sponsored by him. By his grace also, he has given us, he has accommodated all our guests and the venue where we are sitting also. I want to equally appreciate the head of service who has given the moral and even financial support. And I want to say that honestly he is one of my lieutenants on the first meeting that we attended to represent the state at the alumni in Sokoto State. I want to also acknowledge the three of us that went to Sokoto for the first time while meeting, representing the state in Sokoto. I think Abdul Wakil is here. And there is Aminu Garba Bungudu. He's also here, I think. Yes. I equally want to appreciate Honorable Commissioner of Justice. He has given us both moral and financial support. Abibu Dangote, the former head of service, my super lady, the permanent secretary Ministry of Education. I will not forget my permanent secretary Ministry of Health. Madam Bashir Sarajo. The list is so many. The police commissioner I have not mentioned is also our product. He is supposed to be here, but honestly he has a wedding ceremony to attend in Kebbi. He's already there. He has supported us both financially. Professor Nasiru Garba, I don't know whether he is here.
He's around.
He's around. MashaAllah. The MDCSDP honestly has also assisted us. The managers are is, and so many honestly too numerous to mention. I appreciate all of us for doing it and to continue to do it. But I want to advise that it's better we try and raise a sort of income so that any time we want to have an occasion, it's not about going about trying to collect money to have an event. And that will give us an opportunity to assist our alma mater. We are thinking of how to do it. I believe we can do it because we have the number. I want to appreciate the Permanent Secretaries, Minister of Education, Agriculture and Justice, Barila Aliu, Garba Aliu Gayer also assisted us. Minister Musa Garba also Permanent Minister of Justice. The Honorable Commissioner, Ministry for Local Government, is not our member, but he donated generously to us, honestly speaking. I want to sincerely appreciate him. We will have a wording encounter today and in subsequent engagements in the future. I urge all members to redouble their efforts to the cause of our great citadel of learning and character, the famous and great Usman and Fodiyo of Sokoto. This particularly as it affects wider professional network and connections between members, contact with classmates, connection with lecturers and parents' departments, socializing, and most importantly, giving back to the alma mater. May Allah bless us all, and may He ensure our safe return back to our destination at the end of it all. Wassalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. I bring to you the greetings of our National Association, and particularly to say that the association holds this chapter in high esteem and regard. This is because of the consistency of your leadership. And I was here yesterday. I was a participant observer of how activities of the association is carried out here. I must say, I feel highly honored to have such leadership in our association. I want to start my speech first by expressing the profound thanks of the Alumni Association to the executive governor of this state. I must confess that is one of the governors we hold so dearly to our hearts because he is a listening governor to us. And even before becoming the governor, is someone who is used to intervening in the infrastructural development of our alma mater. He did it more than once, more than twice, and to cap it all, when we requested for assistance when we were about to hold our national grand reunion, he gave us a donation of 5 million naira, which was announced just now by the state chapter chairman. That is correct, and we remain ever grateful to him. We equally want to express our thanks to the state chapter for representing us well and for steering the ship of this chapter creditably well. And I want to salute the state chairman and indeed my vice president, because he is our vice president 3. We have 3 vice presidents. We have 1, 2, and 3. Indeed, is one of the most promising vice presidents I have. I also want to use this opportunity to express my thanks to the entire members of the Alumni Association of the state. You have done us proud, and it's amazing to note that over 70% of the workforce of this state are products of Usman and Fodiyo University. By implication, therefore, even apart from being a member of the former Sokoto Emirate, I also want to say that I feel at home amongst products of my university. So I think a good clap for that. Now, I want to use this opportunity to extend to you the message of the National Alumni Association. And the message is that of unity. In fact, members of the Alumni Association are products of the same history, and that is what we always remember with nostalgia anytime this type of gathering takes place. In fact, we use the same facility from the city campus to those of us who were old products, but I have seen who is even older than me that has passed before me. Because together with our chairman and Professor Benbez, we graduated in 1986. But I've seen who has graduated in 1980. So it means it's almost 6 years older than us in the system. So we went through the same system. Each of us is aware of the city campus, the curricular route up to the university. So I want to use this opportunity to encourage us to be more united. United, we can achieve anything. And I'm happy that in Zamfara, if there is any word that is bigger than unity, it is achieved here. And I commend you for that. May Allah continue to grant the courage to maintain unity. Another important issue I want to raise here is alumni is about coming together to help your alma mater. Your mother that gave birth to you has become old now and is in dire need of your assistance. How do you assist the alma mater? You can do that individually or collectively. Indeed, the university is expanding and we're in dire need of additional infrastructural facilities. So singularly or individually or collectively, you can decide to erect structures in the university. we are requesting that those of us here that Allah has given chance to become wealthy or prominent in their college should come to the end of the university to erect structures. We are in need of hostels. We are in need of water points. Recently, one of our chapters, the global chapter, is intervening in the construction of solar borehole in the university. Indeed, the borehole has been completed and very soon it will be commissioned. And indeed, we were able to utilize the influence of one of our members, former Minister of State in the Ministry of Water and Resources, Barrister Bello Gorenyo. Through his influence, we were able to get a very good and large borehole for the student hostels. That one also is nearing completion. In the same way, you can also do that. From 10 naira, 20 naira to 1 billion naira project is welcome. And the university will be very appreciative of that. Now, the university is intended to celebrate its silver jubilee this year. The university has come of age, is now 50 years. And now it intends to hold convocation this year and also silver jubilee. So it's requesting all the alumni members to please donate generously so that the ceremony will be excellent and befitting. And I know members of the Alumni Association, indeed products of Usman and Fodiyo University, have become notable members of the Nigerian society everywhere. You see them everywhere. We have produced governors. We have produced ministers. We have produced commissioners too numerous to mention. We have produced chairmen of local government. Not to talk of councillors. It means we can do everything. We were about to clinch the office of the president when nature said it's not time. But we believe with time, one day we shall be there. But I believe even if we are not there yet, we can still help in the development of the alma mater. So please, I expect maybe before the close of business today, donations will be coming individually and collectively, especially in the area of provision and intervention in the area of infrastructure. We really need that. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank all those that have graced this occasion, especially members of the High Table, and particularly the representative of His Excellency, for being here with us. Although I did not hear the state chapter mention that is a product of Usman and Fodiyo University, but by neighborhood, we will not hesitate to give him membership. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are grateful, we feel highly honored, and I want to say I was treated to high-level hospitality while I enlisted. I do not wonder because I know I have come back home. Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Thank you.
Having completed the youth service, he came back home to give his own contribution to the motherland, where he was posted at General Hospital of the South, popularly known as Farida, where he worked for some period of years. In the same vein, he was a medical officer at General Hospital of the South between 2012 to 2013, and also was certified lead poison management expert in 2013. He was also a medical officer at Federal Medical Center, so in the duration from 2013 to 2014. Having served the motherland for some period of time, I deemed it necessary to go and venture into postgraduate residency training program. By so doing, he was admitted at the University of Usman Fodiyo University teaching of Sokoto in the Department of Radiology, where he passed with the fellowship of West African College of Surgeons in Radiology, and as well a member in the National Postgraduate Medical College of Radiology. He is a certified ICT in Public Health, also appointed consultant radiologist by Hamasani Yaviba Bakua Specialist Hospital. He was a certified radiologist expert. In the same vein, in the Yaviba Bakua Specialist Hospital, he rose from the rank of HOD to Deputy Head of Clinical Service. From there, he got an opportunity to still serve his motherland at Federal Medical Center also, where he also was appointed as consultant radiologist from 2024 to date. Just to take you a brief of his leadership experience, he has served so many capacity while as a student and also even currently now, ranging from the hall governor of his hostels, ranging from the chief imam, second chief imam, first chief imam, and even an imam of the school mosque. He was also the head of the Department of General Sokoto. He was also head of Center of Excellence of Lead Poisoning, which is two of its kind, one in Gusau and one in South Africa. He, as a mentor, he mentored most of us and the former State Medical Academy Student Association, where he rose from the position of Secretary General to the President of the State Veterinary Medical Association. To cap it on, he also raised from the level of the member of House of Representatives of Association of Resident Doctors to even the clerk of the House of Representatives. By so doing, he also achieved the pinnacle in that regard to become the Speaker of House of Representatives. He was the Vice Chairman of Iman of Association of Abasani Special Hospital. He was the Vice Chairman of Medical and Dental Consultant Association of Nigeria. Presently, Dr. Aminu Abdullahi Gusau is the President Focal Person on Cancer Prevention from 2023 to date. Presently also, Dr. Aminu Abdullahi Gusau is the Secretary General of Association of Radiologists of Nigeria, popularly known as Tare. His hobbies are teaching, reading, research, and mentoring the younger ones. He has published so many publications, both local and international, and is happily married with a wife and 4 children. Mr. Chairman, I present you to our renowned scholar for this lecture, Dr. Aminu Abdullahi Gusau. Thank you.
Can we put our hands together for him, please?
He has achieved on healthcare service delivery in Zamfara State, and we are going to look at the way forward. Actually, we knew that we are all faced by insecurity in Zamfara State, and that have adversely affected healthcare service delivery in Zamfara State. Now, as a people, how do we come together? Well, we need to identify, we all knew the problem. Now, knowing the problem is part of the solution. Then how do we come together to address those issues, and what can we contribute to ensure that the measures that are put in place work for the betterment of everyone in Zamfara State? Now, this I'm going to go take the presentation through the following outlines. I think it's not projecting for our people to see. All right, the other side is there. All right. Because I want us to be in phase. So can I continue, please? All right. So that's very good. As we know, Zamfara State was created in 1996, come from the former Sokoto State, and the Zamfara were bounded by, to the east by Sada, to the west by east Katsina, west Sokoto, north by Niger, and to the south Kaduna, Niger, and some part of the Kebbi State. Now, the population of Zamfara is actually about landmass of about 40,000 square kilometers. Then population of about 6 million. the population come across with almost similar male-to-male ratio of 50.1 to 49.9. Then we have 14 local governments, and predominantly Zamfara is occupied by Hausa and Fulanis. Farming is mostly the activities, then mining and business activities. Now, today we are celebrating Usman and Fodiyo. And in as much as you want to talk about insecurity in Zamfara State, you can never talk about insecurity without talking about one of the most outstanding work that was done by one of our own, a product of Usman and Fodiyo University during the 15th seminar. Dr. Murtala Ahmed Rufai, a book called A Bandit. You can never discuss insecurity in Zamfara without referring to that book. And that happens under the able leadership of our able Professor Bilbis. Now, generally, the impact of insecurity, I want us to know that in some of the findings in the studies we conducted, and the studies that were conducted, and those that I reported, it was reported that there are over 10,000 armed bandits that are operating across different parts of Zamfara State. This was contained between 2011 and 2021. Then over 12,000 people were killed by the activities of these bandits. About 500 women were widowed, and over 225,000 children were orphaned. This is contained in the MD Abubakar former IG report that he presented to the former governor of Zamfara State. Then, between 2011 and 2019, over 3 billion naira was paid as ransom to bandits in Zamfara State. Then, about 147,800 vehicles and motorcycles were burnt down. 120 villages, over 120 villages were destroyed. Over 250 livestock have been stolen from Zamfara State. Then, banditry activity in Zamfara State has resulted in increased unemployment, loss of investors, loss of tourism, as well as immigration, among other things. So the data is very alarming. Now, what is the impact of insecurity on health? Insecurity, our governor, especially the current governor, was so much disturbed about insecurity that wherever he finds himself, he discussed about insecurity, he discussed about the lives of people of Zamfara State, and he is looking for ways to see how can he get help so that the menace can be taken care of for the state to move forward. And that has not left health. There are effects on health as well. Now, some of those effects on health are that Zamfara State, we have about 700 primary health care. But out of the 700 primary health care, over 500 primary health care are inaccessible due to insecurity. That is amounting to over 75% or 85% of our primary health care are inaccessible. And we should remember, most of our people are residing in the rural areas. Now, this was contained in some statement by the Zamfara State Primary Healthcare Board. The Zamfara State Hospital Services Management Board said that some secondary health facilities, some general hospitals, could not run effectively because of insecurity as well. Now, WHO recommended that there should be at least one health facility in every 5 kilometers, even in regions of refugee. Even if there is fight or war, there should be a healthcare facility within 5 kilometers. Now, because of insecurity in Zamfara State, and that is that no person should take more than 1 hour without accessing healthcare and accessing health services. Now, because of insecurity in Zamfara State, some women have to travel a distance of between 10 to 15 kilometers just to access health. And even at that is between 2 to 3 hours of work. Then even at that, with more than 10,000 bandits, they are not sure of their security to reach their destination. You can see the consequence. Now, in the statistic released by the Nigerian Medical Association in 2022, Zamfara State was actually quoted to have about 267 doctors in the whole state. That is less than 300. And we are marked to be the number 35th in terms of number of doctors in Nigeria. we are only ahead of Jigawa and Taraba states. Because, and one of the reasons is that insecurity is one of the causes that resulted in Zamfara not having much doctors. WHO also recommended that doctor-patient relationship, that at least every 600 people, they should have at least one doctor. Now, because of many factors in Nigeria, the doctor-patient ratio in Nigeria is 1 to 10,000. That is for every 10, instead of us having between 300 people to 600 having one doctor, in Nigeria, we are faced with one doctor serving at least 10,000 people. Then, back to Zamfara, if we take the statistics of Zamfara as 6 million population with at least about 300 doctors, if you put the ratio, it will amount to about 1 doctor to 20,000 patients, or to 20,000 citizens. You can see how great it is. And this is one of the reasons why there is much delay in accessing healthcare, even within the state capital. And insecurity is actually one of the reasons that resulted in such. So this is specifically the impact of insecurity on healthcare in the state. Now, some of the consequences that we were faced with are, my sisters and brothers, it is very disheartening to know that in 2019, one of the people serving in Tare, one of the physiotherapists serving in Tare, a Korean, was actually abducted by bandits. It took a lot of effort before he could be rescued. In 2020, the medical director of General Hospital, Sada, Dr. Masoro, was actually kidnapped alongside some nurses. It took a lot before they were released. Now, similarly, in 2021 and 2020, in 2020, one of the medical doctors, a consultant gynecologist, was actually assassinated and his corpse was burnt down in Gusau around Damba. Then, recently, this year, some of our colleagues were actually kidnapped. Dr. Yerimado from Federal Medical Center Gusau was actually kidnapped, he was kidnapped just last October. It took a lot of effort and courage from the management and the TMC and one of just before he can be rescued. In 2023, there was one health personnel in General Hospital JGB. He was killed and over 10 members of his family were abducted and they are taken by bandits. Recently, one of the nurses working with Yarima Bakura, her heavily pregnant and her children were actually kidnapped and taken. And it took a lot. They were just released recently. So these are some of the consequences and negative impact that insecurity has resulted during a healthcare services delivery. Now, you know, one of the most disheartening episodes that we had was what happened last year. And everyone of us knew how we lost a teacher, a father, a mentor, a leader par excellence. Professor Yusuf Saidu, he was on his way on official assignment from Usman Fodiyo University. He was assassinated by bandits. It was a very terrible situation. You know, it is very difficult when you lost someone who teach doctors. You know, doctors, we are important, but without teachers, there won't be doctors. So that is why it is very great. The loss of one of our teachers was very great on us, and we actually did not think it easy. The day we are depositing his corpse into ritual, I was so sad, because you cannot imagine losing somebody of that caliber to the effect of banditry. But that is his own destiny. We pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive his shortcomings. And at this juncture, I'm condoling the Usman Fodiyo University elders, as well as the who happens to be close together, and all of us on the loss of our teacher, mentor, Professor Yusuf Saidu. May Allah forgive his shortcomings. Now, we have seen the problem, we have seen the general impact, we have seen the specific impact on health. Now, what is the way forward? How do we address this menace? because we all need to come together. It is not all about critics. It's not all about saying it. But how do we come together to outline way forward on how to resolve these issues? Now, in way forward, I categorize them into two. One is that addressing the menace of the insecurity, because we are talking about impact on health. And for us to have a better health indices, then definitely the cost should be addressed, because the reason why doctors are running away, one of the reasons is because of the insecurity. Without addressing the cause, the effect will continue unabated. So we need to address the cause before we can now have maybe change in the trend, and we can now have improving healthcare. Now, some of the things that might help us in improving addressing the menace of insecurity is that there should be holistic collaboration between federal and state government, as well as different security agencies. We will discuss that. Then we need to support the government and security agencies with relevant information by community and individuals. Then, after we have done all that, we should repent and seek for divine intervention, because that is paramount for ensuring that we have a better healthcare system. Now, in addressing the issue of the infrastructures in the state health system, we need to address the issues of manpower, equipment, then our health institutions. I classify them into immediate measures, short-term measures, as well as long-term measures. Now we are going to drive through that, and we are going to discuss that inshallah. Now, in way forward, it is everybody's responsibility. We all have to come together. It is not the responsibilities of leaders alone. No, we are all in it, because the consequences is on all of us. It's not only the leaders. We are all affected. It doesn't differentiate between men and women. It doesn't differentiate between Muslims or Christians. It doesn't differentiate political parties. It doesn't differentiate region. Everybody can be a victim. So we all have to come together to address these issues. So holistic collaboration. You know, Nigerian Code of Arms, it says, if you can see the right up here, it says unity, then faith. We need to be united and be faithful. If we are united and faithful, then we'll have peace. And with peace, we'll have progress. So that is one of the things that was written here. Unity, faith, peace, then progress. So they are all important for us to address. And that is why we all have to come together. This symbol is showing that we all have to come together. Government, individuals all have to come together and address these issues. Now, there should be holistic collaboration between federal and state government. This holistic collaboration is a political holistic collaboration. We all have to keep everything aside and come together to address this issue that have make ourselves indices to deteriorate. Whatever the state and federal government need to come together so that that issue can be addressed. Now, this is a pictorial. This image is showing us. This is showing how the Chief of Defense Staff, Christopher Musa, came and visited Zamfara State last year and met with the Executive Governor of Zamfara State, His Excellency Dr. Tare, and they have serious discussion. You can see with the entire security agencies in the state and the entire cabinet. I can view one of our alumni, Executive Commissioner Education. They are all together. They have discussion on way forward in addressing the issues of insecurity in Zamfara State. Now, part of holistic collaboration, you can see in this the second image. Next, beside the Chief of Defense Staff, there are all the security agencies, the DNS, Civil Defense, Nigerian Police, all that matters. They all came together in order to ensure that they discuss way forward on moving Zamfara State forward. Then, similarly, when the issues were tough, the governor was so much disturbed. He now went to Abuja and met with the Minister of Defense, together with his counterpart, with his friend, Katsina State Governor, Dr. Dikorada. They went and had serious discussions on issues of security in affecting Zamfara State. And within 48 hours, he also met with the National Security Advisor. Within 48 hours, the Minister of Defense was actually in Zamfara, and issues regarding security were discussed. Similarly, the Zamfara state government, in its efforts to ensure that issue of insecurity is curtailed, the governor last year organized what is called community protection guard, so that they can help, and they were trained by security personnel in addressing the issues of insecurity. And so that was done, and they were launched and were equipped for security, for us to have security in Zamfara state. Similarly, we have the security guards as well as the military. All this have to do with holistic collaboration. It is not a one-man activity. Then this also is showing similar thing. The executive governor as well as the military, we are actually trying to. So we said and pray that these efforts should yield the result for us to have a lasting peace in Zamfara state. Then, second aspect is that at individual level, supporting the government and security agencies with relevant information. We as populace, we are the ones that move in the nook and crannies of Zamfara state. We are the ones that intermingle, and we are the ones that reside in the state. Now, how do we at individual level, community level, as well as our traditional rulers and religious leaders, identify security threats and report to the appropriate authority? Because if you identify security threat and you don't report, it is as simple as you don't do anything. Now, it is the duty of the government to offer us protection so that they can get information from us. It is also our duty to ensure that we have self-discipline, we train those around us, the community should be sanitized, the traditional and religious leaders should tell us the do's and don'ts, what God says, and how we can live a peaceful, how the society can be cleared of that menace. So we all have to come together and contribute our own quota towards addressing the issue of insecurity. Now, after that, we should now repent and seek for divine intervention. It is the promise that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through our noble prophet, tells us that أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم فقل تستغفروا ربكم إنه كان غفارا يرسل السماء عليكم مدرارا ويمددكم بأموال وبنين ويجعل لكم جنات ويجعل لكم أنهارا. That we should holistically repent to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If we do that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send rains, and we will now be able to go back to our farms and farm. Then there will also be what? He will shower and increase our wealth, and he will give us children. All. Now, because of insecurity, we cannot get to go to our farms. But if those issues, the government is holistic and the issues, measures were put, the communities put measures to addressing those issues, and we now all repent and seek for divine intervention, Allah promised us that He is ever there for us, and inshallah we are going to have everlasting and peaceful, and we are going to have the dream of our president of our dream, inshallah. So that's why this is in Surah Nuh, verse 71, chapter 71, verse 10 to 12. Akramakallah, Permanent Secretary, Minister of Health. I'm sorry, my teachers are around, so even if I misquote, they are there to protect me. So I'm well protected, inshallah. Now, going to the second aspect, addressing issues of manpower, equipment, and facilities. Now, my respected colleagues, my respected elders and alumni, what I want us to know is that this is the second aspect. I said I categorized it into immediate measures, short-term measures, and long-term measures. Now, what are the immediate measures? The reason why there are no doctors in Zamfara State, serving Zamfara State, is we said issue of security is one. So we have addressed, we have discussed the three factors that need to be addressed for us to have security. Second is we said the issue of manpower. Now, for us to have an effective health care delivery, we said we have less than 300 doctors with a ratio of 1 to 20,000 patients. Very low ratio, doctor to patient ratio. How do we improve that? How does number of doctors increase so that we will have more doctors coming to the state, more doctors attending to patients? Our wives will not spend the entire day in the hospital. And that day, by the time your wife spends the entire day, your dining table will not be smiling. And men, by the time the dining table is not smiling, wallahi, that day no labari. So the best way is we need to have measures to put in place so that our wives can go to the hospital and come back immediately. Dining table will be smiling and we will be laughing. You know, that one after you engage upload, you will be what do you call? You will be laughing. Now, immediate employment of doctors is very important. And how do we do that? We should ensure that there should be good entry point for those doctors, and the salary should be competitive. My respected brothers and sisters, you may need to know, my elder brother, Dr. Laccoci, the MD of MMC is here. There is serious competition for employment of doctors in Zamfara State. My elder brother, as we speak, he is looking for doctors to employ in Zamfara State, but because of some doctors are leaving the country for other countries, some are going some other places. It's very difficult to get. Now, if we want to get doctors in Zamfara State now, how do we address those issues? We need to provide competitive salary. What do I mean by competitive salary? My ever respected elder sir and the representative of His Excellency sir, what I mean by competitive salary is that if we just give them salary that is equivalent to MMC, it is very difficult for them to come. We should create an avenue where the salary should be higher so that it will be very tempting for them to come back and serve at home. Then we should get visiting specialists. The Zamfara State government was actually magnanimous. They employ visiting specialists to our tertiary institutions. Many are coming to Yarima Bukura, are going to Yarima Bukura to render specialist services. Then there should be restoration of internship at our tertiary institutions. As we speak, because of some of the bottlenecks, internship could not be run in some of our tertiary institutions like Yarima Bukura, and that need to be restored. By restoring internship, if we put competitive salary, definitely more people will be willing to come for internship. Then motivation, the permanent staff that are there, sir, need to be motivated through well-structured salary. Actually, the Zamfara State government was able to increase the salary of doctors by implementing the 30,000 minimum wage, and they are going to implement 70,000 minimum wage. Sir, I want you to know that Zamfara State means doctors are actually grateful because their welfare has been improved. All right, their welfare has been improved, and seriously, that will boost their morale, and by so doing, it will increase in the health care service delivery. What remains, sir, is that actually there are some. Of course, some challenges like Yarima Bukura, some of their issues need to be addressed holistically because some of them, instead of getting increment, they are actually having some issues. But there are issues that we believe the government out of magnanimity will resolve. Now, we should engage capable retired health personnel. That is human capital development. Then, after human capital development, there should be infrastructural development. In terms of infrastructural development, the executive governor of Zamfara State declared state of emergency on health, especially health early last year, and where we are currently seeing massive infrastructural development in healthcare of Zamfara State that have never ever been seen in the history of Zamfara State, where all hospitals are, in fact, I will not call it renovation. I will say all hospitals are rebuilt, and I am aware many machineries are going to be provided for the system too. Then we should support supervision. Then pre-medical outreach. It is very important. Recently, we have seen that since the inception of the current government, the executive governor, Dr. Tare, have sponsored pre-medical outreaches where many professors and consultants were invited to the state, and patients were gathered across different local government, and they have pre-surgeries and pre-healthcare services. Similarly, the wife of the executive governor is doing similar thing. Then other associations like Nigerian Medical Association, Association of Resident Doctors, Medical Women Association, and Iman, they are also doing similar things.
One more minute, right. Just 1 minute.
I'm rounding up. Iman is also doing a lot. However, sir, Your Excellency, Iman is facing association of health personnel that are working in the state coming together to help the state. But because of the current issues, their deductions could not be effected, and it is grounded because they are contributing money to get it. We are pleading with state government to ensure that that bottleneck is relieved so that Iman can continue to help. Now, short-term measures. Residency training is very important. The restoration of clinical allowances, we are appreciative of the government because some percent clinical allowances have been restored by His Excellency Dr. Tare, and we are appreciative of that, and he have even increased it 5%. Then supporting indigenous medical students, and they have supported Sudan students, Cyprus students, Indian students. The Ministry of Health should do a lot to ensure that those issues were addressed. Then the long-term measures are collaborative effort in all the ministries and agencies. Education, we should have sound teachers. We know the Ministry of Education have declared state of emergency, and we are paid. Then we know that that will be resolved. And inshallah, with such, we'll have effective health care and increase in the number. The establishment of medical schools. It is paramount to know that medical courses will be established in Zamfara. Inshallah, ABUG will commence medical courses in collaboration with Federal Medical Center Busau, and accreditation have been awarded. Similarly, Yerima Bokura have been upgraded to teaching hospital by His Excellency during declaration of state of emergency. Then Senate approved bill to establish federal universities. So we believe that if we put all these measures, Zamfara State will be great, and our dream will now come through, where we have we'll go to our farms, we'll mine our gold, we will have our tourism, and that can only be effected with unity. And at the end of the day, finally, we are saying that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I am leaving you with the prayers of Nabi Ibrahim, the prayers he prayed to Mecca. رب اجعل زمفرا بلدا آمنا مطمئنا وارزق أهله من الثمرات من آمن بالله يوم الآخر. We pray that may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help the government and security agencies and individuals in bringing an end to the menace of insecurity in Zamfara State. We all said Amen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala render Zamfara. This is our conclusion, and these are my references.
Thank you very much, please.
A master student of agricultural economics at Usman and Fodiyo University, Sokoto, and I did my Bachelor of Agricultural Economics at the same university. Thank you very much for the opportunity to present my presentation on climate change, green energy and climate change, a pathway to sustainable development in Zamfara State, Nigeria. All protocols are duly respected. Let me start with what green energy refers to. Actually, green energy refers to energy that's been gotten from renewable sources, such as solar power, wind power, hydroelectric power, and as well as biomass. These energy sources actually produce a very, very minimal greenhouse gases emissions when compared to fossil fuels like coal and oil, which contributes significantly to global warming. The issue is that Earth as a planet receives radiation from the sun. Then, after being heated by that energy, which is in form of sunlight, the Earth revert back. That energy, in the process of reverting back into the outer space, these greenhouse gases, they accumulate in the atmosphere. They disallow the process of this reverting back. This is called greenhouse effect. So, okay, let me go directly to climate change. Climate change is long-term alteration in global weather patterns, which is caused by natural processes and human activities, particularly the excessive burning of fossil fuels and deforestation. This leads to accumulation of GHGs, such as carbon dioxide, CO2, and methane. So the issue is that there's a difference between climate change and weather. Weather actually is local and it can be quantified, let's say, within an hour, or let's say hour to hour, day to day, or even weekly. Unlike climate change. Climate change has to do with long-term shifts in weather patterns of a particular region. We can only quantify the weather of Zamfara as a state, but you cannot quantify the climate of Zamfara. You can only say its contribution, that is, it's kind of global. It has to do with a very large place or city or region. So that is that about climate change and green energy. I need to be very, very fast in my presentation due to the time factor. Okay, climate change and its impacts on Zamfara state. As I mentioned earlier, it has a very, very significant effect on the temperature, humidity, and other atmospheric issues. So we have irregular rainfall as one of the effects of climate change that impacts not just Zamfara state but Nigeria at large. Irregular rainfall. It was reported that in 2024, Gumi experienced a devastating flood that claimed the life of about 11 people. It destroyed about 500 houses, as well as damaged thousands of hectares of farmlands. This is very, very devastating, and it has a direct impact, or let me say a negative impact, on our agriculture, in the sense that it destroys farmland, so no more production of food as it were before. And we see our population is increasing by day. We are increasing in number. Our current statistics shows that we are 200 plus million, but actually we can't believe just that, because in fact the rate of mortality is beyond what we can be able to quantify actually, unless a standard census has been conducted in this country. So we're just managing 200 plus million as it is. So there is also this effect of deforestation. This is primarily driven by the need for firewood and land for farming. It accelerates soil erosion and reduces the land capacity to reduce water. Yes, of course, deforestation. We are all aware of deforestation, what's going on in our country. We are cutting down trees, but we are not replacing them. This is the kind of country we are in, and we need to work on it actually. Then according to the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, Zamfara loses over 100 hectares of forest annually due to tree felling for firewood. This is an illustration above. It's showing firewood stoves that we have been using for several years. And that is a charcoal stove that we have been using. You see, the point is, this charcoal we have been using, I mean, this is very, very, actually, it is kind of disheartening, and I would like to say it categorically, that charcoal is now a very, very lucrative business in Nigeria. And the issue is that if you take a look at the value chain of charcoal, from where it's being produced up to where it's being used as a fuel for cooking in our homes, we are burning these greenhouse gases. So it's very, very kind of devastating, and it's very, very detrimental to the environment and to our well-being and to also the planet. Because you see, we have been using this for, should I say 100 years? Let me say, yes, 100 years. We have been using this, we have been burning fuels, we have been using all this charcoal and whatsoever, not knowing that this thing has a very, very detrimental effect on our, even our, should I call it, our existence as human beings, of course. We can recall there were dinosaurs that were here in this planet Earth before us, and where are they today? Actually, they're nowhere to be found. Something must have happened to them. So we now, as very, very intelligent animals or species, we have to do something about this issue. When we say climate change, many people will be like, what is climate? Climate? Because we don't see the direct impact of these climate issues, unless it happened to us. Take a look at all these tsunamis that are happening in other countries in the world. Tsunamis, glaciers, volcanic eruption, and also all these kind of natural disasters that are happening in countries around the world. Most of them are associated with climate issue. So, let me move further. These are pictures of alternatives to this firewood and charcoal that we have been using. You can use solar stove, you can use gas cooker and electric stove as an alternative to the firewood we have been using. So now the role of green energy in mitigating climate change. Now the issue is, when we are trying to combat climate change, there are two broad ways that you can do that. There is what we call adaptation mechanism, and that's what we call mitigation mechanism. So now, the point is, when we say mitigation, right, this has to do with trying to reduce these climate issues to a very, very bearable level. While when we talk about adaptation, it has to do with, okay, it's already happening, so now we are working on how to, adapt, acclimatize to that particular climate change issue. So, number one, We have solar energy. Solar energy harnesses sunlight to produce electricity through photovoltaic cells. This is very common. We have been seeing a picture of solar panel above. Then, number 2, we have biogas and biomass. Biogas actually is produced through the anaerobic digestion of organic waste, while biomass energy is derived from plant and animal materials. Both serve as sustainable alternatives to firewood and kerosene. So these are examples of biofuels that you can use, and also this is a picture of biogas plant. Number 3 is wind energy. Wind energy uses turbines to convert wind flow into electricity. It is sustainable for areas with consistent wind speed. Areas like Sokoto State where there's abundant wind speed, they can use. And I think we all already have one of sort of kind in Sokoto State, which is yes. This is a picture of wind plants, of course. So now let me move quickly to current initiatives and opportunities in Zamfara State. Zamfara has witnessed small-scale green energy initiatives, which is aimed at addressing climate change and improving livelihoods. So we cannot say that we have not been doing our best, or the government is not doing what is supposed to be as regards to climate change. No, we are doing our best, but more needs to be done. Number 1, this is tree planting campaign. We have to keep on campaigning. We have to keep on enlightening the public with regards to what climate change is and how we can combat it, because it is directly or indirectly affecting us. So that is that about tree planting campaign. Number 2 is solar home system. I think we are all common with this solar home system. Most of our homes now are being powered by solar panels, or solar energy. Yes. Then number 3 is sustainable agriculture. When we talk about sustainable agriculture, this has to do with farming practices that will be able to meet our own current need at this point in time, and also will not compromise the future generations of meeting their own needs. That is sustainable agriculture. We do our own part and leave the rest for the next generation to also tap into this abundant natural resources that we have in this state and country at large. That's that about current initiatives. Then this is a brief statistical insight and projections with regards to climate change in global context as well as local context. So in global context, the renewable energy sector attracted about $500 billion in investment. That is in 2023, with solar and wind accounting for 80% of new capacity. This is trying to tell us the kind of huge amount of money the world has been earmarking with regards to these issues. Thank you. So Nigeria actually aims to achieve 30% renewable energy capacity by 2030. But how is that going to be possible? How? Do we really mean this business? Because actually, should I say, well, I can say we are serious, but not that serious, and we need more effort actually. So with an annual solar radiation of 5.5 kilowatt hour per square meter, that is of Zamfara State, wind speed of Zamfara could generate over 50% of its energy from renewables by 2035. That is based on projection. So challenges to green energy adoption. Number 1 is funding. Actually, when you are trying to implement this kind of things, when you are trying to come up with coping mechanisms as regards to climate issue, you really need funding. Funding in the sense that this system actually, or should I say equipment, they are very, very expensive, and you need funding actually. That is that in summary. Then policy implementation. The main problem with our society right now is policy. Like, we are very good at talking, we are very good at presenting things that this is how it should. We are very good on paper, but actually when it comes to implementation of these things, we are kind of reluctant. We cannot do the needful. So actually more needs to be done as regards to policy implementation. Idan mu ce sai ce daya gwamnati ta tsaya a tsayin daga cewa lallai sai ya shi da ce guda uku irin wannan ce da sai. It is what we call policy implementation, not just a daidai a rubutu policy regards to climate change. We are trying to combat deforestation. More needs to be done on this. We need to be this. We need to be no. It needs to be enforced and reinforced. That is what this policy implementation is talking about. Then awareness. If you don't know what climate change is, how do you expect someone to even think of a way of combating this climate change issue? So we have to keep on creating awareness, like, and most especially when it has to do with rural people. Yes, the rural people, they are far left behind. Because even now, even some of us that are learning, that we are enlightened, we have gone to school, we have traveled in several places, but still, when it comes to climate issue, we are kind of, we don't put actually much attention to it. So that is that about awareness. These are challenges that are being faced when we are trying to adopt green energy in Nigeria and Zamfara State particularly. So, recommendations for sustainable green energy in Zamfara State. These are the recommendations. Policy support, as I mentioned earlier, not just policy planning or policy drafting or whatsoever. No, policy needs to be reinforced and reinforced. So that is that. Then partnership. There are numerous non-governmental organizations, movements, initiatives, projects, individuals like us who are always passionate about climate action, and we are also advocating and promoting this issue. So partnership needs to be done. Then number 3, public awareness campaign. As I mentioned earlier, we need to create enlightenment as regards to climate change. Then research and development. Yes, this is very, very critical because I remember during my coursework, my lecturer told me that take a look at any developed nation in the world. Any developed nation in the world, if you observe, they value research, innovation, and development. Any country that you see in the world that is progressive, as of now, check. They value research, they value innovation, and they value development. That's what we are lacking in this country, I'm sorry to say. We like this in this country, and we like this, particularly in this part of country, that is northern part of the nation. We don't value research, we don't value innovation, so we need to sit down and focus on this. Conduct more research as regards to climate change, learn how to combat it in new and innovative ways. That is that about research and development. Then, did you know Nigeria loses 351,000 hectares of forest annually? This is just, should I say an icebreaker? Okay. All right. Let me quickly go to conclusion. Green energy represents the first state's best opportunity to address climate change while driving economic and social development. By investing in solar wind, biomass technologies, the state can reduce its carbon footprint, improve agricultural productivity, and contribute to global climate action. So actually, I will end with this. Please and please, each and every one of us should focus on his carbon footprint. Like, this has to do with the amount an individual, a person, a group of people, or even organization emits. The amount of greenhouse gases you emit should be tracked. You should learn how to use all these alternative ways instead of all these charcoal that you have been using, firewood. Please and please, when you go home, propagate this knowledge to your homes, to your people at home. You know, please be a change maker, be a change agent. And in this, should I call it a movie? Let me use this analogy that if this climate action is to be a movie, you and I are all players, we are all actors, and we all have a very, very significant role to play in this. Thank you very much. God bless Zamfara State. God bless Usman University, Sokoto. God bless Nigeria. Thank you.
You know, occasions of this nature are always joyful. I mean, the coming together of individuals, distinguished individuals who have had remarkable careers, you know, since their graduation. For them coming together to have a reunion of this nature is always a joyful event. Events of this nature fill our mind with nostalgic feelings over our university days. They also offer, you know, platforms for us to strengthen, you know, our bond as a family. I believe members of an alumni association of this nature, you know, are just like a family binded by a common purpose, by a common goal, which is to always serve as the good ambassadors of our alma mater, the Usman Fodiyo University. Even though organizing grand reunions such as we are having entails a lot of commitment, that is commitment of resources, time, I would like to call on the leadership of, the chapter of the alumni to put up more efforts to ensure that we hold this event annually. This is very important because, as we can see now during this event, at least 2 lectures have been presented. Yesterday we had this trekking, and in the evening we're going to have dinner. And this fora, the various fora, gives ample opportunity not just for interaction, not just for strengthening, the bonds, but also, rubbing minds on issues of development, critical issues of development, critical issues, that if properly discussed, ideas could be employed to bring further development for our state and the country at large. So on behalf of the Secretary to the Government, absent, I convey to all of us his deepest appreciation for all the efforts pushed together to ensure the success of this event. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
May we now invite the Secretary of Service, Barrister Ahmad Liman, for a goodwill message.
We heard from our eminent personalities gathered here why we need to come together as a family to rejoice on this very important occasion as alumnus of our alma mater, great alma mater, great Usman and Fodiyo University, bearing our leader, Bibalist leader Usman and Fodiyo University, Usman and Fodiyo, Sheikh Usman and Fodiyo, who revived the ethics of this religion through the establishment of Sokoto Caliphate, alhamdulillah. So what we are witnessing today is we are just an offshoot of that caliphate, because it is Usman and Fodiyo University that actually anchored all the key programs of the caliphate, the establishment of the caliphate, the growth and development of the caliphate, and how it impacts its operation on Muslims in this part of the country and beyond, like up to Nigeria Republic and where. So there is that connection between the caliphate and the university. That's why the University is anchoring key programs on the development of northern Muslims or Muslims in the Belad Sudan. Why? Because this is where these religions survive in this part of the world. From here down to some African countries, up to Sudan, the present Sudan Republic. So this is a very important institution. So if you look at it with all its products, you find that that affinity is there between the institution and its products. By that kind of affinity, so we assemble to celebrate ourselves and see what can we do for the institution, the alma mater, and its alumni. So it's for us now to see, as urged by the national president, that we should always think of what we can give to this institution, having considered what we have been given before. To whom much is given, but much is expected. We have asked through thick and thin of it. We have gained what we can, some of us, are highly placed now. So it's time for what? Payback. We have to pay back because we have taken a lot. And what? We need to give back. So I urge all of us to really come together and we promote this, enterprise, if I use the word enterprise, because it's so important that we need to hold this institution, perhaps we need to promote it to any, height we can, because it has given its own. Don't die there. We have so much. Of course, we can recall what we have so much those days, but that it shaped our lives. It makes us what we are today. We are resilient. We are very resilient. Whoever attended Fodiyo will be very resilient, bold, courageous. Because that's why they are saying the Arabs, they are resilient because the weather, terrain, it makes you become very sharp. It strengthens you. And that's what Fodiyo did to us. We are so resilient. Wherever we find ourselves, we can just, scale through. So let's maintain that. And let's give the most we can. Then coming to the issue of lectures, I'm so much interested. The way and manner the topics were identified, assembled and outlined. Issue of insecurity, it's our pain. Northwest. We have nothing now that particularly this region than this diversity and security. And whatever we are doing, if we cannot rise above these security challenges, we are not going to go anywhere. I'm telling you. And it's a big common knowledge. Everybody knows this. That we need to do something about this insecurity. It's a collective issue. It's no longer government, it's purely collective affair. Not the government, non-governmental, everybody, all hands should be on deck. See that we are these security issues for our own survival. So it's only right that you should, even though you limited the topic to healthcare, which is part of the, it's worse hit. But the issue is there are more other areas which is worse than healthcare. Even though I can understand the leaders of this chapter, they are from the sector. So they prefer to concentrate more on the healthcare. That's why they have enough data and whatever. But that is actually the agriculture, the transportation, the wear, all this, they are more affected than the healthcare. Even though what do you call it, the indices and the figures given, they have to be verified properly, apart from those figures of those victims of banditry. But in the healthcare, the figures given, I think, are not properly verified. That properly. Okay, just 2 more minutes. Okay, for me, I will rush. Secondly, the issue of climate change. This is new normal. No policy now in the world that will be part and parcel of the sojourn. Because the more we tend to be careless with climate change, the more we are going to pay the price. It's even high time now we make it part of our curriculum, part of our policies and strategies, part of our decision making, because it has come to it's a reality. This world will not survive without the tenets of climate change. So that it's unfortunate that the culprits in the world, the global culprits, are the people who is leading the campaign. It is so unfortunate. The African continent should have led this climate change campaign because we are innocent. we are victims, and then we are the right people to lead the climate change, campaign crusade. But that those countries that cause the devastation, effects of this climate change, they did the campaign so that they cover their their crimes, heinous crimes against nature, against environment, against everything. So let's make our position clear. It's time African leaders should come out and with the support from the institutions like Usman and Fodiyo University, whereby the research is being conducted on climate change, on environment. They will lead our leaders to, make our position clear to the world that Africa has come to defend its position, and then we are the right people to lead the campaign, because we have not been messing with the environment. But that they will come down here, create some, this climate, what do you call it? Detractors. Oh, sorry. Gentlemen, let me say I thank the organizers of this program for seeing it to bring us together as a family to come and celebrate ourselves and find the best way we can move the alma mater forward and support the younger ones that are coming from the institutions. It's high time. Please, wherever we find ourselves, those coming from the alma mater, we should support them so that they move the they promote the campaign forward.
As we observed today, the lectures that were delivered had demonstrated that the talent we came out with in Usman and Fodiyo still subsists. Now, I want to also observe that the turnout is low. The turnout is low, which is not a very encouraging situation. I will urge that next time there should be more campaign and showcasing the importance of this gathering. Because as I will say, particularly there are people I have not seen for the past 20 years, only for me to find them here, which is very encouraging. Now, to come to the main issue, I want to recognize the fact that the gathering, from the faces I've seen, the gathering is very promising and people are proud of their achievements and very proud of themselves, though there is a lot of ladies also. But yet, we can as well say that we have reached a stride that makes us to be very, very proud of ourselves. And then, just to make it short, I'll just give you a story. The learning nature, the learning culture, the learning environment of Usman and Fodiyo University is unique, number one. Number two is genuine. Number three is tentative. You will not see that until you go out of this area. We happen to be in law school, particularly Lagos. What we do is when we come out of school at 3 p.m., we take siesta. After Isha prayer, we read to 10 o'clock and sleep. While the others will go party, come back and pretend to read till down. We kept that attitude. We already know what it is. In school, that is unfortunate, they teach you the law. In law school, they teach you how to use the law. I will tell you that what I learned in Usman and Fodiyo at undergraduate level was used by me at the Supreme Court just a year ago, and it still worked. Judicial notice. So I want to urge you to patronize this gathering. Those that are absent should be prompted. And we should also know that our input is needed. You know what I mean. You have my support. We want to thank the organizers, and we want to acknowledge our elders, our in-laws. I have in-laws here. My wife is also here, a product of Usman and Fodiyo, and I know she's very proud of us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the presentation. I was telling Mustafa here that I thought I'm not going to say anything. I would really feel better if I'm staying down there than here. I feel more comfortable staying down than here. This is a very important hall. Alumni, wherever they are, is a cult organized to take care of their members. In the process of taking care of yourself, please don't forget your alma mater. You don't have to be rich to help your alma mater. Just a printer to your department, a computer to your department, a ream of papers to your department will definitely assist that department. So you don't have to be very rich. Just say 30,000, 40,000, 50,000, something to your department is something that the university will cherish, and we look forward to receiving from members of the chapter. We are lucky His Excellency is ably represented here, and I have a message for the government of the Zamfara State. Some 40 years or so ago, this hall is named after Governor Adama, and I will love the state government to bring in the Nadama's thesis and see how we can publish it, and it will answer the insecurity situation of the Zamfara State. Zamfara was like this some 300 years ago. Yes, was like this some 300 years ago. I will read the thesis, the title of the thesis, The Rise and the Collapse of a Hausa State, a Social and Political History of Zamfara, 1300 to 1762. It will give the history of how Zamfara came into being, how strong it became, and it collapsed. Why does it collapse? Because of what we are experiencing now. So it's better we sit down and work this out before we collapsed again. We are now way down. We were down, we came up around 1800, we were going down. Now we are at the level. If we don't do anything, we remain down. Because all of this insecurity, 90% of those who are causing insecurity are from the state. They are not from anywhere. They are our own people. We know them, they know us. So it's a better time we start to think, how can we use the homegrown ways to see how we can tackle this? It's going to be village by village, emirate by emirate, council by council. It's difficult to say I'm going to have a holistic insecurity solving the problem. No. Go village by village. Every village, they know their own people. Every village. Go village by village. With sincerity. But when they do, you say if a Fulani attack, the Hausa must attack. Then it won't go anywhere. Unless they attack you and you are forgiven, then that's why you start getting peace. When they kill one, you say you must kill one. The killing will continue. The killing will continue. We must learn to forgive and forget. Unless we do that, we continue. No matter the government want to do anything, there must be peace before we develop. And we need the development now than ever. So this is my message to see how can we get this thesis. I know there was an attempt to publish the thesis some years back, and there's a problem within the family, and I think if the government takes that up, I know that the Bello have actually reviewed the book, have done everything, but because of family issues, we were able to publish it. So if the government can come in and to launch this book in this hall, and also use the history to see how can we move the whole state forward. Because all the answer to what we are now is in that thesis. The rise and the collapse of a Hausa state. And that Hausa state is Zamfara. And from 1300 to 1762, there are 372 years of history there. And it will answer our call, and probably we'll be able to get way out from this. Thank you, may Almighty Allah be with us.
Committee of the association and also representing the Vice Chancellor to this event. It is with great pleasure that on behalf of the university community, I felicitate with the leadership of the Usman and Fodiyo University Alumni Associations and President Chapter, especially the chairman and his team on this special occasion of the 2024 reunion. I equally felicitate with the entire membership of the Association of the President Chapter, noting that the association, noting that the chairman, Alhaji Mustafa Marafa, has proven his tenacity in bringing members together from different angles of the state, despite the economic hardship. The gesture, no doubt, gone a long way in repositioning the association in the state to the admiration of all members. I once again congratulate you for the successful conduct of this reunion. Assalamu
Okay, members of the high table, all protocol duly observed. Please permit me to stand on the existing protocols. Yes, the most merciful, may peace and blessing of Allah be upon our holy prophet, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his household, his companion, and all those who follow him up to the last day. This is a very wonderful gathering. I'm very happy to have this kind of deliberation, presentation, and many so on. I'm proud to be the product of Usman and Fodiyo, where I did my first and second degree there at the Islamic Studies Department. I just have little to say, but I am just going to discuss about the paper presented from the best presenter on insecurity. This situation that we are facing, definitely we are in a miserable situation, but with the will of Allah, the narration will change. Inshallah, the narration will change. Because of the saying of the Almighty Allah in His glorious Quran, where He has mentioned that فَاسْتَعِينُوا بِالصَّبْرِ وَالصَّلَاةِ وَاللَّهُ مَعَ الصَّابِرِينَ, that whatever happened to a Muslim, a believer, he or she should refer to patience and pray, then the situation will change. Then also, when we are in a good position, we are doing what is good, not wrong. We are doing the best of our ability. Also, the Almighty Allah said, كَمْ مِنْ فِئَةٍ قَلِيلَةٍ غَلَبَتْ فِئَةٌ كَثِيرَةً بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ وَاللَّهُ مَعَ الصَّابِرِينَ. Whatever they are doing or they are planning with huge number of people, but those that are little will be succeed, and they will succeed, and some president will succeed, inshallah. Then remember the saying of Almighty Allah that وَلَا تَلْبِسُوا الْحَقَّ بِالْبَاطِلِ وَتَكْتُمُوا الْحَقَّ وَأَنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ. We should not hide the truth when we know it. We know our lapses. We know that there is something wrong. We are doing something which is not in accordance with the teaching of Islam. So please and please, my fellow Muslim sisters and brothers, my fathers, we should change from the bad behavior to good ones, so that we are going to have peace in our state. Also, the presenter presented about health issues in Zamfara state, but remember, education is second in a state of emergency. We can easily understand that through the kind of the Honorable Commissioner we have, that is Honorable Commissioner Mala Wadatoma Dawaki, who is working tirelessly to see the development of education in Zamfara state. As we all know that before, our students may not be able to write NECO or exam, but with the present administration, all the backlog has been paid, and our students are writing their exams and they are receiving their certificate. Also, in terms of scholarship, our Honorable Commissioner with one Commissioner from Finance and SA Finance, they have met with members of at School of Cyprus, where they discussed so extensively about our students that are studying in Cyprus, and very soon everything will be okay with our students that are in Cyprus. Moreover, just because we have a very good leadership, just of recent, that Zamfara State had the position of second position in one of the examination that is gifted examination. The whole Nigeria is Zamfara is number second. Then also we can also understand it through renovation and construction of many schools in Zamfara State. Go to Zakas, the narration has changed. Go to science, go to many schools across the state. Education is taking shape. Also the training and the training of our teachers, which is on the process. Let me tell you, education is in top gear to see that everything is going right at the right time in the right place. Thank you so much. The organizers of this occasion, we really appreciate, we are very grateful. Udud, always, Usman and Fodiyo in my life.
Thank you very much.
Madadin mai martaba sarkin kasanin Gusau Alhaji Dr. Ibrahim Bello OFR, ina mai tsaye gabanku jawabi a madadin shi. Na farko ya dai so ya halarta, ya yi shiri wakilci daga mai alfarma sarkin musulmi, shi ya ja aka da shi da zuwa wannan wurin. Shi ya sa turo ni kuma yana fata alheri, sannan shaida nake taro ya yi kyawu. Duk da jawabin da mutum zai yi wayanda na gabace ne ga bayani su, amma abu guda ne wanda an san shi ba a kuma faɗi ba, to ya zama tunatarwa. Wannan taro kowa ya san masu ilimi ne aka tara, to masarauta idan mutane sun ziyarce mu masu ilimi, hudu ban mu gare su cewa su ji tsoron Allah, shi za mu ce musu a takaicen takaitawa. Alhamdulillahi na halarci wurin ga babban abin da zan magana wanda ba wanda ya magana wato game da lokaci. Na zanna wurin ga wurin awa 1 da rabi sannan aka fara taro. Abin da aka rubuta ma mai martaba ga takarda ya halarta karfe 10. Ya umarce ni 10 taiman nan wurin. Alhamdulillahi na samu halarta 10, amma ina nan awa 1 da rabi aka fara. To an ce ba a jam'u, to banda gwamnatin jiha taro dai mutane masu zaman kansu a yi taro, to Zamfara na wakilci mai martaba ba kidaye ba. Ƙungiya da ake ce ma Zamfara Sayakot, ita ɗaya ce ni samu wadda ta sa lokaci kuma lokacin na yi ta buɗa da addu'a. To alhamdulillahi wanda ita ‘yar ƙanƙaniya ce cikin wanga tare, an ga mutanen da an ka tara wurin da akwai masu jagoranci ga hannuwansu, akwai wanda suna bisa hanya, akwai wanda sun sauka. To ba ƙaramin ƙalubale ba ne irin wanga taro a ce ana haka, wanda da ɗalibai ne malamai za su hora su, kuma sai a faɗa maku malaman da jagorori, kullukum ra'in wa kullukum mas'ulun an ra'iyyati. Haka sallallahu alaihi wasallam ya ce. Sannan kuma wa fi qaulihi ta'ala fi kitabil aziz huwa al-qur'an al-karim, subhanallahi, fazakkir fa inna zikra tanfa'ul mu'minun. Don haka wannan jami'ar ta yayi ku tana da sunan Shehu Usman bin Fodiyo, sannan kuna kankan ba ilimi, sannan kuma ya kamata a yi muku wannan tunatarwa. Allah shi mana jagora, taro kuma ya kyawo, Allah ya sa albarka, Allah kuma ya maimaita. Zumuncin ma da aka yi shi kan shi wani abu ne, balle manufofin da aka shirya a gabatar da su ga gaban rayuwa, Allah shi jagora. Sannan kuma ita ma masarauta ta shigo cikin ma'aikatar ilimi, gifted student exam din nan da an kai cikin 30 da Zamfara ta samu 22 renon masarautar Kusuru.
Masha Allah.
Don haka Allah shi muna jagora, Allah shi maimaita mai da kuwa gidan shi lafiya. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Let me start by saying that I have that serious challenge of wearing 3 caps in this occasion. The first cap is that of the Executive Governor of the state, His Excellency Dr. Gudanar, who had loved to be here physically, but due to exigencies of office, he could not make it. So he assigned the responsibility to his deputy governor, His Excellency Mani Malamumuni. 2 days before this occasion, exigencies of assignment also called Malam Mani, and then he had to go. So he called on to me to wear those very big shoes and come and represent him on behalf of the executive governor. Then the third cap is that this is an educational function, and by virtue of my position as the Commissioner of Education, I happen to wear that cap to be present here to rejoice with the people that are here. Based on that, I am going to lead a speech that has been prepared, and wherever you hear I refer to Malamani, Malamumuni, by extension, Dr. Dauda Lawal. It is therefore my pleasure to be with you, the community of esteemed members of the Usman Fodiyo University Sokoto Alumni Association, an institution well established on the true values of the person it was named after, the famous and legendary leader of the Sokoto Caliphate, Sheikh Usman bin Fodiyo. Indeed, I have watched with great admiration the activities of this great union and what you are able to achieve in terms of ensuring the sustenance of team spirit and communality. Though not an alumnus of the university, I must say that your efforts towards uniting your members is worthy of commendation and emulation. It is heartwarming to know that the university has graduated many students who are today holding various positions in the country. Particularly here in our dear state, you are literally holding all the aces of the state. We must therefore thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the journey so far, which is the journey of many successes and achievements. Let me therefore seize this opportunity to congratulate you all, individually and collectively, for witnessing this important day of reflection and merrymaking, of coming together to remember the good old days of studying together in that great citadel of learning. It is important to note that reunion is vital to strengthening relationships. This is in view of the fact that it affords us the opportunity to reminisce about our good old days as students, sharing good, bad, and enjoyable moments which even our siblings cannot give us. In fact, this is a moment to share fond memories of the university days, usually characterized by enduring rigorous academic exercises. Distinguished personalities, great members of the Usman Fodiyo University Alumni Association, ladies and gentlemen, it is important to note that the central focus of this administration, under the able leadership of His Excellency Dauda Lawal, which by Almighty Allah's will took over the administration of the state over 1.5 years ago, is to revitalize the ailing infrastructural decay in virtually all sectors of the state's economy. That was what informed packaging a transformation agenda tagged COURT, Rescue Mission on COURT, consisting of 6 pillars, of which health forms the 3rd pillar, next to education and security. As a mark of seriousness in that regard, apart from giving the highest premium to security by taking it as a cross-cutting issue, the government declared state of emergency in the 2 most critical sectors of education and health, which are the vital pillars of human existence. This is in addition to development of critical infrastructure like roads, agriculture, and economic empowerment. On the tertiary sector of education, which
I think and presume this gathering ought to be integrated on. I am glad to state that, apart from many other things, our administration constituted a visitation panel to the 7 state-owned tertiary institutions. The committee submitted its report, and a white paper committee followed it up to ensure the actualization of the various recommendations put forward with the aim of coming up with a roadmap of an effective tertiary education for the state. The governing councils of the institutions have been constituted and will be inaugurated by His Excellency the Executive Governor Dauda Lawal to strengthen the functions and performances of the institutions. Alhamdulillah, our tertiary institutions are heaving a sigh of relief, especially as it affects payment of accreditation fees and other issues bordering on infrastructure. As we look at the State University in Talata Mafara and the College of Arts and Science, Gusau, will speak volumes of the earnest commitment of the state government in that direction. With these few remarks, let me once again congratulate you all for coming up with this laudable initiative of a get-together of graduates of the historic Usman Fodiyo University, Sokoto, graduates from 1980 to date. It is my sincere expectation and prayer that it will translate into more unity and compassion to one another. May it be an avenue of giving back to the alma mater that has been the springboard of your individual and collective prosperity. I equally wish to congratulate the executive members of the Alumni Association for your commitment and resilience, of which I am certain is the reason we are all here. May the year 2025 be the beginning of greater Zamfara State, where peace and prosperity shall prosper. And to assure the modern architect of Usman Fodiyo University that his message has been received, I assure him that his message of the publishing of that wonderful thesis by our eminent father, late Dr. Garba Nadama, the message will be delivered to His Excellency for the state to come in and ensure that that thesis is published and we learn from it. That's why history has been brought back into the curriculum of the Nigerian educational system to ensure that we do not forget what our history is, so that we learn from history. With this, I would say, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and thank you very much. God bless all.
I mentioned that we had our annual reunion in November last year. And during that time, we selected individuals, particularly alumni members of the university, who made giant contributions to the development either of the union, of the association, or of the alma mater. Unfortunately, your governor was selected among these distinguished individuals with high rating. So it is my pleasure to bring the certificate of award to this venue to be delivered to no other person but the able representative of His Excellency, because I know he will deliver the message here. Your Excellency, it is my honor on behalf of the National Association of Usman Fodiyo University Alumni Association to hand you this very important certificate of award.
President of Udus, Dr. Buhari Bello Kwari, on behalf of the Executive Governor of Zamfara State, His Excellency Dauda Lawal, I received this certificate of award, and I assure you that it will be handed over to His Excellency. And on his behalf, I would want to appreciate the Alumni Association of Usman Fodiyo Sokoto for recognizing the contribution of His Excellency the Executive Governor to the development and progress of not only the association of the alumni, but the university itself. We thank you very much for this recognition that has been done. You give unto Caesar what is Caesar's. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I really don't think I am worthy of this award as a person. I was just doing my job, leading my colleagues to achieve what we did. I sincerely appreciate this and also humble. I was not expecting anything here rather than to come and see friends and colleagues and we discuss and we chat and remind ourselves of very good old days. I would like to dedicate this award to the entire staff and students of the Usman Fodiyo University.
Thank you very much, sir.
This is their award, not mine. I'm only receiving it on their behalf. I've not done anything without them. They did all what you have seen, all what you think I did. Actually, the entire staff and the students of Usman Fodiyo University those who did what you think I did. And this is our award. I accept on their behalf and sincerely appreciate the alumni, the Sokoto, the Zamfara chapter. I was telling them that I come here representing myself. I belong to Sokoto chapter. The first said I belong to Zamfara chapter, not to Sokoto chapter. So I belong to all the chapters. Mongolia, Allah Sakara here.
Thank you.
My super chairman and the ESCO members, I want to appreciate particularly the members of the high table who were able to, apart from making it here presently, they were able to contribute immensely towards making this occasion a success. The state government, under the able leadership of His Excellency Governor Daliban, the Deputy Governor, and the SSG, who apart from making generous donation, is sponsoring the dinner that is going to hold tonight. We will thank the state government, we will thank the head of service, who is a founding member of this chapter. In fact, he is behind the formation of the state chapter some 10-15 years ago. The national chairman, the royal father, the representative of the PC, also my younger brother, the only SAN from Zamfara State, the commissioners here present, the permanent secretaries, particularly the permanent secretary, Ministry of Education, the permanent secretary, Ministry of Agriculture, General Services, Justice. In fact, those who have contributed financially, morally, and the members who cooperated with us to make this function a success. We thank all of you. We hope and pray, just as the representative of the permanence and the secretary to government, my very good friend, Dr. Lawal, that this occasion is supposed to be annual. Inshallah, by your cooperation, we are going to make this event an annual one. Like anybody has observed, since we are holding the aces of the state, inshallah we shall continue to make this event an annual one. Last but not the least, I want to appreciate the friends of the university, particularly the Honorable Commissioner, Ministry for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, who has gone out of his way to donate the sum of 1 million naira as part of making this occasion a success. I thank you all, and we pray that Almighty Allah will take us back to our respective destinations safely. Thank you, and wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. Looking forward to receiving you in the next reunion. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi. The dinner.
Yes. Dinner.